Hey, welcome back to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Good to have you along. It wasn't exactly a family feud. Might have had a little Hatfield and McCoys going on there, but not always happy in the land of the Sylvanias. City versus township, township versus city. Now remember, these folks are neighbors. I mean, they share schools and fire protection and some great parks and a great quality of life. So what had them so at odds? Annexation. It's a big issue, and not just in Sylvania, folks, and the township. Joining me, Sylvania Mayor Craig Stough, Sylvania Township Trustee John Crandall. Good to see you guys. I know you're not alone. I remember a pretty good back and forth, I think, involving Perrysburg Township out here in Wood County. And again, similarly, John, some beautiful homes built outside the city limits in the township by design is what the owners want. But those homes, and the ones in question out your way, were reliant on city services, things like water and sewer, weren't they?
Yes, in certain cases, Jerry, that's correct.
All right. And from that point of view, Craig Stough, before I come down too hard on the big, mean city trying to force people to annex to the city, hadn't these homeowners signed something that said at some time they would annex to the city of Sylvania?
Yes, we started about 20 years ago asking new residents that used our water to sign a covenant agreeing to annex to the city when the city requested them to do so.
Yeah. Do they know, homeowners know in these cases, you guys, John, you talk to the folks out there in the township, do they know about this annexation clause? Is that something that has to be disclosed, say, at closing? Do realtors know about it? Do they tell them about it? Or are these people caught unaware sometimes?
Well, some cases it's unaware, Jerry. Sometimes the actual agreement is signed by the developer who develops the whole subdivision, and then it stays with the land, but it doesn't always jump out at a closing.
Yeah.
And many people, I'm not sure all realtors understand it, the mayor may know, but in some cases, the owner has signed it, but in many cases, it's the developer or the previous owner.
As I read it, property taxes for these folks, I'm thinking the folks now in the township, the city comes calling and says, we want to annex you, per the signed agreement. Property taxes for those folks would have actually been lower if they're annexed to the city of Sylvania, but there the city, like most cities, lurks ready to grab a tax on their income. Is that what we think turned off the folks who didn't want to annex, Mayor?
We've analyzed that and found that about 60% of those homeowners were already paying a tax where they worked. So their tax dollars were being paid to Toledo or Perrysburg or Maumee, and their overall tax rates would go down because the property tax would go down. However, about 40% of them weren't paying any income tax anywhere, and the income tax they'd have to pay would more than offset the savings in property tax. And it is some of those people that really objected to it.
Yeah. I'm impressed, John. I mean, this is really between private homeowners and the city of Sylvania, but they live in your township. You guys, as a board, you have 3 trustees, like most townships, right? You guys really engaged and said, okay, we're in. We're in for the fight. What was your point in taking that?
Well, the citizens, Jerry, came to us.
Yeah.
And we supported them in this effort. There's been many annexations, as the mayor knows, and when citizens want to join the city, we haven't been too active in resisting that.
Okay.
We're disappointed, but we haven't been that active. But in this case, they're being forced to go in, and the citizens were quite upset, as the mayor knows, in these subdivisions and the subdivisions surrounding the area they were looking at.
Okay, that sets up where the conflict was over a period of really a couple of years, several years. Okay, lawsuits are threatened, filed, withdrawn, refiled. Then something happened. There was a breakthrough. What finally got things moving off dead center here, Mayor?
Well, we had a good session with the township's administrator, Oliver Turner, who got in there along with Bill Sanford of the city and started going back and forth again against each other, saying, what would make this a win-win for both sides? And there are 3 main issues that could be talked about. One, obviously, the township wanted us to stop trying to annex these existing residential neighborhoods.
Right.
So that would be a win for the township. The city wanted to have the establishment of JEDs, or Joint Economic Development Districts, in township areas so that tax dollars escaping to other communities would stay here in Sylvania to be shared by the township and the city. So that would be a win for both of us. And then the third issue was there was some inside millage that city residents were paying to the township that will now be returned to the city annually. So that's the win for the city.
All right, John, I want you to weigh in from the township's point of view. You had gone to bat for these people. They were being, in their mind, forced to annex. So what were the main points that you wanted to hammer out in order to get an agreement, Mr. Crandall?
Well, first of all, Jerry, we wanted to be sure we're in full agreement with cooperating on the JEDs. That's been discussed for quite a while and is allowed by the Ohio Revised Code. But I want to stress there that the owner has to be agreeable to this. We're not looking at an income tax for the whole township. It'll be individual sites and the owner must agree to it. So we felt that was an advantage for us.
All right.
Also, as the city was annexing, we were losing revenue for both our police department and road department. And as that shrunk, we were worried about either having to cut back on services or raise taxes, which we don't like doing as a board.
Okay. So there was some win-win out there that you wanted to get to. There was some leverage on both sides. You guys have forged an agreement. The city of Sylvania, you guys are going to stop the whole annexation thing, right? We're out of that business out in the township, Mayor?
We will do no forced annexation of existing residences or businesses for the first 10 years of the agreement, which can renew for 5 years automatically.
Yeah.
But we still may have some annexations of business property that wants our utilities for new development adjacent to the city limits.
Okay.
That's permitted by the agreement.
I wonder, you guys are veterans around the community and in government. And I wanted you guys worked through this. Took a while, but you got there. And I just wanted to get you on to give you a play for that. But is there something in your experience, is this a cautionary tale that maybe landowners, everybody from private landowners to governmental entities, cities and townships, are there lessons that people can learn from your experience? John, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think so, Jerry. I think, first of all, we've had a long history of cooperation, as the mayor knows, between, I consider it one community with two different operations, the city operation and the township. We're a little bit simpler form of government. The city has a few services that we don't have. I actually live in the city and the mayor's my mayor and I voted for him. But when I'm serving as a township trustee, I have to look at both the incorporated area and the unincorporated area.
And Mayor, last word, can you do it real quick for me?
Sure, John's right. We've cooperated for decades on all kinds of projects. We share schools, we share recreation district.
Yeah.
And we work together on streets for snow clearing and that sort of thing. But
I'm proud of you both. It's a group hug out Sylvania way, folks, and I think it's great. We're out of time. I want to thank Mayor Craig Stough and Trustee John Crandall. Thanks for getting it done, you guys, and thanks for sharing the story with us here on Leading Edge.
Thank you, Jerry.
Take care, guys. I'll be right back.